So earlier today, a client asked me, dude, why do you do fitness? You help everybody else with theirs. What's your big, why? And they asked this because in my work with people, you've got to delve deeper than just, hey, let's exercise and eat right, because it's just not that simple for people. Because if it was, they really wouldn't need my help. And I'm not saying that I'm a therapist or a psychologist. I'm far from it. But working with people requires figuring out why they want to do stuff, right? So kind of simple, mindset based sort of conversations and ideas, particularly about the power of choice. What are things that you're going to choose to do that are going to lead you towards your goal? What are things that you're going to choose to do that aren't going to lead towards your goal? No judgment on it, just it's a this or a that. It's not right or wrong. It just is and has consequences. But anyway, because of that kind of conversation I was having with somebody earlier today, they were like, well, dude, what's your deal? Why do you do fitness? And I haven't spoken with anybody about this in a long time. And frankly, I really don't share it with many people because it's kind of embarrassing. And, I've been working through like the shame of it all, even though there shouldn't be any shame. But, I think as humans, we want to present ourselves as having as few sort of flaws as possible. And I think it's natural to not want to be super vulnerable. With that said, I was kind of struck by the way that this person had phrased the question. And I decided I would just let everybody in on why I do fitness, because I'm going to continue to post content. I'm going to continue to work with people because it's what I do. And if anybody's interested in what I do, I think it's important for them to have the beforehand knowledge of my reason for doing fitness. And really, the big why goes back to a number of years ago, so probably over a decade ago. I was in a position where I was consistently exhausted. And I'm not talking exhausted like, oh, geez, I'm tired today. I'm talking like get a full 10 hours of sleep and then still wake up feeling like I need to go to bed. So basically living every day as if I had just pulled an all-nighter. And not being able to figure out why. So this put me in a state of alienation that is just so difficult to describe, because I would talk to people about it and they're like, bro, just drink more coffee. Or, hey man, you got to work on your sleep. And I'm like, dude, this is like goes beyond that. I don't know what this is, but it's really scary because no matter what I do, I would go see doctors, I would go do this or that, I'd, go online, of course. And it was just like, could not figure out what it was. Long story short, this really scary situation of basically feeling like, I need to sleep constantly. I just decided to go get a sleep study, which is just talk about your vulnerable moments. In order to get a sleep study, you've got to go to a different location, get all this stuff hooked up on you. And they're like, okay, go to sleep normally. It's like, bro, this is not going to happen. Anyway, the long short of it is, and this is the really kind of embarrassing part, is I was diagnosed with what I'll never forget what the lady said. She said, dude, you have textbook narcolepsy. And I was like, narcolepsy? Isn't that the disease where people just fall asleep without a warning? And she said no, because I thought that that's what it was. That's what everybody thinks it is, because in popular culture or whatever, it's thought of as this really comical, and in that context, it is comical. People randomly falling asleep. It's kind of funny. I was like, fuck no. I mean, hell no. That wasn't me, dude. There's no way I have narcolepsy. Look, I'm just tired as shit all the time. What are you talking about? She was like, no. And then the only thing she offered me was stimulants. She was like, you can take Adderall, you can take Ritalin to stay awake. And dude, at this point I was like, there's just zero chance in hell that I'm going to be propped, upright by an amphetamine. You know what I'm saying? So that diagnosis was devastating, right? And so I wished that I hadn't gotten the sleep study, because at the time, it was just devastating. I didn't know what to do. To me, it was a death sentence. For somebody to tell you, look, if you don't take an amphetamine, you're just going to be tired the rest of your life. I was and I guess you could call this a trigger warning at this point, but I was legitimately suicidal. I was like, look, if this doesn't resolve itself, this was like back in like 2011. I was like, I'm going to kill myself in 2012 if I can't figure out a way to resolve this. I literally said to myself, I'm going to kill myself by the time 2012 hits. There's some that also had to do with, at the time, like everybody thought the Mayan calendar was going to end or whatever, and that the world was going to end. So I was just like, okay, that also makes sense. The world's probably going to end. So if this narcolepsy bullshit isn't figured out by then, I'm definitely going to kill myself. And I was really serious about it. I didn't like plan it or anything, but I made a pact with myself. I'm like, all right, buddy, you've got a year to figure this out. And if you're not feeling better by next, Christmas, basically, that's it. You're gonna take a walk. So I was really determined to figure this shit out. And again, to make another long story, really short, I started to look into diet, started looking into fitness, because there was nothing else I could do. I went to so many doctors and all of them said the same shit, like, look, you can take these pills. There's a Stanford Sleep Center, dedicated to insomnia, narcolepsy, and other sleep-related illnesses. And, some of that research and the things that they do over there, it's really great. But, it's nobody's fault necessarily that there's just no good way to treat this debilitating disease. And, a lot more people have this than you think. I've actually talked to clients who have expressed certain symptoms, and I said, you need to get a sleep study. Turns out they have narcolepsy. It's way more prevalent than what anybody actually knows, and it's debilitating. And there's a higher suicide rate for narcoleptics, because, dude, and I don't think it's because of being tired all the time, which really sucks. It's the loneliness. When you are living in a different world than everybody else, the will to live is diminished. And I think that has to do with not feeling like you're a part of your community and of your tribe, because nobody understands it. In fact, people think that it's funny. So I stopped telling people a long time ago that I was diagnosed with this, because even people within my own family, they were like, yeah, dude, you just need espresso. And they were well-meaning, but they didn't understand like the depths of this fatigue. I would explain to people, if you want to know what it feels like to have narcolepsy, close your eyes, shake your head back and forth really fast, like 20 times, open your eyes. Like, that's what it feels like to have narcolepsy. That's the type of brain fog that exists, in addition to feeling like you just pulled an all-nighter, right? Anyway, that's a tangent. So that was the worst part about it. But there was nothing anybody could do for me. And I really didn't want to die, right? But I had promised myself I'm not going to live this way, right? So you might, like I said, saying, hey, you've got narcolepsy, that was a death sentence to me. So I looked into certain diet principles, nutritional ways to quote unquote heal myself. And I won't get into the specifics of it, but over the course of that year and beyond to this day, I can say that my narcolepsy symptoms have improved probably by like 80 to 85%, which is huge. I on a day-to-day basis, I don't even think about narcolepsy anymore. And the reason is because I figured out how to fix my life through fitness, nutrition, and overall a healthy lifestyle. So, not to be super melodramatic, but fitness ultimately saved my life. It really did. And it was all really by chance, because before the narcolepsy diagnosis, I was already getting into fitness, but I wasn't super into it. If I hadn't had fitness in a little bit of the background of my life, I really don't know if I would be here, because in addition to narcolepsy, I was dealing with, even before that diagnosis, a huge battle with mental health, including, clinical depression, and some pretty serious anxiety, and some other stuff too that was really scary. Anyway, working on myself, for example, getting on a really strict eating pattern, sleep and wake cycle, taking care of these things. For me personally, I had to stop doing CrossFit, because while it was my introduction to fitness, it also helped exacerbate, fatigue symptoms. particularly high intensity with no carbs. That wasn't good for me, and running my adrenals into the ground. Anyhow, like I said, that's my big why. If I stop doing fitness, dude, my life goes down the toilet. Like, it really does. I've been on the cusp of taking my own life because of this, bullshit diagnosis that was like, yo, you're gonna feel like shit the rest of your life. And I was like, nope, not gonna have it. Made the choice, corrected, my lifestyle, and thank goodness it worked. I take a certain amount of supplements. Like I said, my sleep schedules, my routine is basically like, it's like a little house of cards. Like, if my routine gets interrupted at all, I'm kind of in a tough spot. But as long as it stays like really, really solid, dude, I'm good, So, people ask me kind of all the time, like, yo, why don't you go out? Like, you don't hang out with, friends and stuff. And, a lot of my friends know, like, it's pretty rare for me to get out and go do stuff because I've got to stick to my routine, and that shit's real sacred to me. That's why I'll never stop working out. That's why I'll never stop eating well. And, I've been healthy, and I've had pretty much no real recurrence of like legit narcolepsy symptoms. And man, it's been a while, probably since like 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. So I've been, I guess you could call it in, remission for quite some time, knock on wood. And it seems to me, basically, when I see my routine go off, and if I'm out of my normal patterns, I can see that stuff sort of get back to where it was. And it's like, whoa, let me get right back on track. So I don't have a choice, right? And, the thing is I help people with, basic things like, hey, weight loss and stuff. But dude, sometimes I ask people, like, look, put yourself in a position where you have to do fitness because if you don't, your life is on the line. Because if you put yourself in that mindset, it's really going to kind of help you stick to it, right? Because, dude, you don't know. You may one day have a problem that can only be corrected through fixing your lifestyle, right? Anyway, like I said, fitness is my life. That's why fitness is my life. And that's also why I love helping people with it, because I have enough knowledge now through my own experience that was really severe, that I have found that just really helps me help other people. And that's how I, keep myself humble is, look, there's only one thing to do once you've, helped yourself, and that is to help others. And so that's my whole deal. And I do this through remote fitness training. So I don't do personal training. I work with people one-on-one, basically by writing their exercise and nutrition programs with a level of personal accountability where I have a relationship with every one of my clients that's like super special and close to my heart because, like I said, of my relationship with fitness. And I just so desperately want to share this with other folks. So if you're interested in that and what I do and how I help people, you want to learn a little bit more, knowing that it's remote and you can be helped from anywhere, just direct message me. Say, hey, I watched your video. I was interested. I appreciated you, telling us that. So, and then I'm happy to start a conversation with anybody. So, okay. I hope everybody enjoyed my TED Talk. Love you guys. All right. Peace.